September 9th, 1907. 10 people gather in secret in an apartment in Jaffa. Their purpose, to re-establish Jewish defense in the land of Israel. The meeting is the brainchild of 20-year-old Israel Shochat.
His words, though simple and without flourish, won over those present. Even more than his words was the appearance and stormy temperament of the young man.
The name they take is Bar Giora, after a Jewish rebel who fought the Romans some 1800 years before. In the minds of Bar Giora's members, Jewish self-defense is intimately linked with the idea of Jewish national restoration. Bar Giora is badly needed. In Palestine at that time, Jews had stopped defending their own settlements and instead hired non-Jews. The result was that the Jew had lost the respect of his neighbors. Shochat, arriving in 1904 from the city of Grodno in Eastern Europe, is shocked by what he sees and determined to change the situation. He sets Bar Giora's base in Segera, a Jewish village in the Lower Galilee. At first, the manager at Segera refuses Bar Giora's request to take over guard duties. But in a story that became famous, the members of Bar Giora remove a mule one night. David Ben-Gurion was living in Segera at the time and describes the scene.
Immediately the whistle was blown to call the guard, but there was no one. We went outside, circled the wall, and the guard wasn't there. People were sent to the Arab village to search for him and found him fast asleep. Eliyahu Krause, Segera's manager, fired him and transferred the guard duties to Tzvi Becker, one of the founders of Bar Giora.
Bar Giora has little time to enjoy its success as security worsens across the land following the revolution of the Young Turks in 1908. Shochat sees that a small secretive group like Bar Giora can't cope. What is needed is a larger group, one that operates in the open. Shochat calls a meeting in the village of Mascha in the Lower Galilee on April 12, 1909. A new organization is founded, Hashomer, or the Watchman. So as not to alarm Turkish authorities, Hashomer's official program sticks to the mundane task of guarding settlements. They even adopt Arab dress. But to its members, it is clear that Hashomer, like Bar Giora, is about more than guard duty. As one later described it,
Hashomer was a political movement. The intention was to create a national army, socialist, revolutionary.
Those who join Hashomer choose a hard, lonely life, demanding discipline and self-sacrifice. Even to marry, a guardsman must receive permission from his superiors. In the first years of its existence, from 1909 until the start of 1913, Hashomer enjoys nearly uninterrupted success. Before Hashomer came on the scene, the accepted way of dealing with land disputes was to take a beating, literally. Jewish farmers were encouraged to turn the other cheek when struck, and then file a complaint with the Turkish authorities. Their physical injuries were considered useful evidence for trial. Hashomer has a different approach. Its members come out to the fields in strength. In one case in 1909, Hashomer members worked land that had been stolen by Bedouin, as told in History of the Haganah.
In the afternoon, the Bedouin went up the hill, armed men, women, and children. But when they saw it was the members of Hashomer, the Muscovites as they called them, they didn't dare interfere.
As Hashomer's reputation grows, so too does the area under its protection. Most of the Lower Galilee comes under its watch, then southern Judea, and in 1910, the Shomron, when Hashomer takes over the security for the town of Hadera. Although every Shomer is well armed, the group does not take a confrontational approach. For the Arabs, it is irrelevant even if a death is an accident. It automatically sparks a blood feud. In one case in Mascha, an Arab shoots at a Jewish farmer. The bullet ricochets off a rock, comes back at the shooter and kills him. Still, his Arab brethren would not rest until a Jew was dead. Hashomer members do all they can to avoid such feuds. But a number of their own men are killed in quick succession, straining them to the breaking point. Hashomer nearly splits over how to respond. Hashomer reaches its peak in 1913, but it is soon forced back to its base in the Galilee. A major factor is the higher cost of Hashomer guards. As historian Yaakov Goldstein points out,
The farmers didn't take into account what they saved by preventing theft, but rather what went straight from their pockets to pay for the Jewish watchman.
Hashomer's retreat is hastened by the outbreak of World War I. The Turkish authorities in Palestine, under the leadership of Jamal Pasha, initiate numerous anti-Zionist decrees. Hashomer finds itself outside the law. It continues to operate underground, but its activities are much reduced. The Turks exile its key figure Israel Shochat. Shochat returns in 1919 and hopes to renew Hashomer. But there is a general attitude that the group is no longer needed. The British will provide security. This view will prove badly mistaken. Despite its small size, Hashomer did much to root out the idea that Jews were, in the words of the Arabs, the children of death. Hashomer also advanced Jewish self-respect. A major youth movement in the diaspora held up Hashomer as the model of the idealistic noble youth it aspired to create. In its founding document it said,
"The Shomrim in the land of Israel prove that the ideal to which we aspire is not something reserved to the imagination, but found right here on this earth."
Finally, Hashomer's members play a role in the establishment of the Haganah, the Jewish defense force that would eventually become the basis for the modern army of the State of Israel.